still be happy. You can do whatever you like. You don't have to be ready.
Hey cuties, and welcome back to another video, or welcome if you're new. I'm Cora and today I am back with another CC haul, and today we're gonna have a look at around 100 new CC items for both your male and your female Sims. As always, links can be found in the description down below, and of course I added categories and numbers to this video to make things a tiny bit more easy for you guys. But without further ado, let's get straight into this. I honestly cannot believe this is my 51st, how you say it? Yes, it is. 51st CC haul. Like, Jesus. I've done a lot of these. I'll link a playlist of all of my CC hauls right now so you can go check out the other ones if you're still in need of more CC after this video. But yeah, I hope you guys have been doing well. There is some really cute CC, I have to say, in this video. There's especially one pair of shoes by Serenity that I am in love with. So, you know, get ready to see it in every single one of my lookbook and creator sim videos because I'm hooked. I love them so much. I think they're like the perfect winter boots and they're just, oh, they're everything. But that put aside, I have been doing I would have loved to get up 2 videos this week, but honestly, I've talked about this in my recent videos. If you're new here, you wouldn't know this, but I started going to a clinic for my mental health on Monday, and it's been a lot. I have to say it's been a lot, and I've definitely noticed that I struggle with structure if it's not structure that I have put out for myself. Like if it's not something, so like, you know, they try to structure your life for you again, because a lot of people with depression kind of fall short on like having structure in their life, and that kind of becomes overwhelming, etc., etc. But I have noticed that whenever in my life I had a clear structure that someone else picked for me, so school, university, stuff like that, I felt really unhappy because I have a hard time doing things that I don't enjoy, and if I have to do them, I always put them to a date where I feel more ready for it, and it's just, it doesn't feel good. I kind of feel like a child. There's like so many rules that I don't get. Like every morning you have this kind of like meet up in a really huge room. I don't know why it has to be that big, but it's ginormous, and everyone gets asked how they're doing, and then the day kind of starts from there. And a woman's phone rang the other day, because you do that at the start and at the end of each day, and the day was ending and her phone rang and she was like, oh my god, I'm so sorry, I thought I turned it off. And then she got told off for it, and you can only get like 3 warnings or something, and then you're out and they have to release you. And I get that it's annoying if a phone rings, but it's also not the end of the world. Like it happens that you think your phone is on silent, or maybe you put it in your pocket and the little button turns itself back on, you know. So I just think, for me personally, it's kind of ridiculous to get a warning for something like that. That's just an honest mistake. I would say if you like intentionally do something wrong, you know, intentionally bother other people and stuff like that, you can get a warning for that. But just for an honest mistake, I feel like it's kind of like school, and everyone there is obviously a grown-up, so it's just a bit there's a few things actually that I liked whilst being there. It's my first time at a clinic ever. I've never been to a hospital either. So it's like a lot of firsts for me. But the food is awful, so everyone out there who has to visit hospitals frequently and stay there, I'm so sorry, because it's not good. It kind of makes me feel really upset because I'm such a big foodie, and I might have to start bringing my own food at some point, because it's not it, honestly. It kind of makes me feel sick as well, and it's just weird. Let's not talk about the food. I'm just gonna get very upset talking about it. And I don't have breakfast there because breakfast starts at like 8 a.m, 8 to 8:30, and honestly, that's too early. Like I eat breakfast at 12 and then I stop eating at 8 p.m. and 8 a.m. is just way too early for me to eat. I feel so sick when I eat something this early in the morning, so I always skip breakfast. which is annoying because breakfast is kind of like the safest option. I mean, it's just bread, some bread rolls, and some like spreads for bread, so it's kind of a safe choice, but I'm not hungry for it, so that's kind of a bummer. And yeah, you have like different sort of therapy slash courses, because it's not really a therapy, it's just like courses where you learn about different things, if that's like mindfulness or I don't know, enjoyment. There's like something called enjoyment therapy where you're supposed to enjoy all of your senses again, which it's so far I don't have high hopes for. A lot of times I feel like I just go in and they try to teach me something that is very obvious to me and that I already know, and it kind of bugs me, honestly. I have, like I said, a hard time to do things that I find boring. I notice I drift off and I'm kind of like, ugh, I don't want to be here. And there's also a lot of time in between things. Like a lot of times I sit around for like 1 or 2 hours with nothing to do. Luckily, I picked up knitting this year. Like I taught myself how to knit at the beginning of the year. So I have that to fall back to if I have a lot of time in between. All of the other, I almost like want to call them inmates. It's so bad. Like, I shouldn't think like that. You know, we're all there because we want to be, not because we have to be. All of the other patients are also super nice. Like, everyone is really nice and they were very welcoming and helpful, because a lot of things are in different rooms where you have to like leave the clinic and go to another part of the hospital, and it's very confusing. I also have such a hard time finding rooms, honestly. We have nurses there, and the nurse was just like, oh yeah, it's just outside and then you go right. And I was like, what? Because there's obviously so many buildings, and I feel like sometimes the nurses can be very, I don't know, the nurse I have isn't really the nicest that I have to talk to every morning. I don't particularly like her, so that's great. Also, another thing, if you don't want to hear anything about weight or weighing yourself, food, stuff like that, just skip ahead a few seconds, because I'm just going to quickly go into this. But you have to do like a weigh-in every Tuesday at this clinic, and I wouldn't mind it if I had to get on the scale and they would read it and I don't have to see it, but it triggers me a lot because I have a few issues with my body and my eating, especially when I know I'm heavier than I was before, heavier than I want to be. And therefore I don't weigh myself, because it just, you know, triggers a lot of these things in me that make me like doubt myself and make me feel bad inside my own body, even if I wouldn't have previously, like before knowing how much I weigh. And they do it every Tuesday, and they just put the scale out in the hallway, and I thought it was so insensitive. And like the ladies that were waiting outside to go into the nurse's office to do like their daily morning talk with the nurse that we have to do, they were all talking about weight as well, and I thought it was very insensitive to me, especially because I have such a big issue with it and I just didn't want to hear about it. And I asked the nurse, like, do I have to weigh myself and like tell you the weight? And she was like, yeah. And I was like, okay, that's like, I'm here for like reasons, you know, that kind of should be thought about, because now that I know my weight, I haven't weighed myself in years, because honestly it's just not healthy for me. I know when I'm at a good weight because of how I feel and how I eat and how I treat my body, and not because of a number on the scale, because naturally, honestly, when you exercise and you build up muscle, you will weigh more than if you're maybe in like a more unfit state of life. And it just bugs me. It was really like a really bad experience for me, and I also haven't had a talk with any therapists this week, so I definitely next week, when I do, want to say something about that, because I don't think it's like a good way of going about things. And I honestly can't be the only person who has an issue with her weight and doesn't want to know her weight, and for whom it is like, you know, an issue. But with that put aside, they also wanted to draw my blood, and I said no, and I was surprised that until today I have not heard anything about it. Like they've asked me once and said, maybe come in tomorrow and tell us how you feel, like if you can get your blood drawn today or not. And I said no, and ever since they just left me alone with it, which I'm very grateful about, because it's really hard for me to do that, and in a setting where everything is new, and it's also a hospital, which I don't have good memories about, just because of family members that have been to the hospital and like bad things that happened there. I don't like hospitals, so it's already, you know, an issue when I'm there and super anxious. It's just there's a lot of new things. I feel super exhausted all the time because I have to get up at 6:30 now, and I would never ever get up at 6:30 if I wasn't forced to. I'm more like an 8 a.m. and 9 a.m. girly, and I don't understand why workplaces, clinics, doctors, you name it, haven't figured out yet that people have different like sleeping cycles. There is people, and there have been studies about it, there's people who like feel more awake during the later hours in the day, and there's people who feel more awake during the earlier hours and feel more productive during the earlier hours of the day. And I'm kind of like an in between. My perfect sleep time is somewhere between like midnight and 1 a.m. and then I get up at 8 or 9 because I need my 8 hours of sleep, definitely. And it's just, you know, it's been such a big change, and just sitting around with a lot of people around me is also something that drains my energy a lot, because I'm a huge introvert, and not being able to pick the people I want to spend my time with has been a bit of a change. It's also like, I remember the first few days when I got home, my mom would call me and I could barely talk to her because I was like, I am just so dang exhausted, like I can't like formulate any sentences. And that was also the reason why I haven't managed to do a video. I mean, I was home by like maybe 3:30 or 4 p.m. every day, and I just didn't have it in me to sit down and work on a video. I hope that next week, once I have settled in a bit more, I can maybe, you know, do like 1 or 2 hours of work after the clinic to get at least 1 to 2 videos done. I also don't know how long I will be in the clinic. I'm hoping they will tell me next week what kind of time frame we're looking at, and then I will obviously tell you when things go back to normal. It's honestly bothering me because I love this channel so much. I love the little community we have. I love seeing familiar faces around, and I enjoy doing this, and it bugs me to see that I can't do as much as I would like to, but I just have to take care of my mental health, and I know that all of you understand, but still kind of upsets me. But with that said, this video is coming to an end real shortly. Let me know how you're doing, if you are maybe doing something new right now, or how you're feeling in your everyday life. And if you did enjoy today's video, please don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe if you have not already, and I will see you all next time. Bye.